everybody, what's going on? It's Caden Cleveland here with the Oklahoma Senate, and you're joining us for yet another episode of OK Senate Sit Down. This week, we are joined with one of the newest members to our Senate family, Senator Darell Weaver. Senator, thank you so much for being here this week.
Well, absolutely. It's my pleasure.
Absolutely.
It's just a pleasure to be here with you.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to get to talk to you, to get to know you just a little bit better, maybe learn a little bit about your background and what the expertise is that you're bringing to the Senate here. Does that sound all right?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Well, hey guys, hang on tight. We'll be right back. We'll be getting to know Senator Weaver just a little bit better, and maybe even talk a little bit some of your legislation and just kind of learn what you got going on.
Absolutely.
So awesome. We'll be right back, guys. Hey guys, welcome back. As I mentioned before, we're joined with Senator Darell Weaver this week. So, Senator, this is your first year as a senator, and just to kind of get your thoughts on it, how's this year going so far? Has the session been what you expected it, or you kind of tell us your thoughts so far?
Well, that's a great question. I'm asked that a lot in my district and just from family members, that you finally get in the Senate or elected official. How is it? And first off, it's just an honor, just to walk in this building every day and to know that you're one of 48 men and women that are representing in the Senate.
That's right.
I just think it's a high honor to be put your name on a ballot and people elect you. And,
That's right.
And so I walk in here every day with just real honored. It's at the time right now that is so exciting for our state. We have a new governor and a lieutenant governor, and we have new senators and new representatives. I mean, I just think there's a lot of energy right now. It's exciting, and it's all been good. I will say one thing that's really surprised me. I knew it'd be busy, but I'm not sure I thought it was going to be this busy.
Gotcha.
You hear about legislators are part-time and things like that. I think to myself, this is not part-time.
No,
really
it is not.
Really, if you do it right. And I made a promise on the doorsteps, and I made a promise to myself that I'd read every bill I voted on. And some people say, well, you should do that. But as you know, the pace here, Caden, it comes at you pretty fast.
It's crazy.
But I've read every bill, and I'm going to.
Awesome.
And so I'm keeping up with my reading and things like that, and trying to meet everybody and find out your district even better. So there's a lot of components. It's a very robust endeavor.
Gotcha. And now you kind of come at this with a little bit more, knowledge of the whole process than most people do when they first come in, because you've actually been the head of one of our state agencies. Is that correct?
That's correct. I kind of likened it to a 400-meter dash, and I've got about a 50-yard head start.
Oh, gotcha.
It wasn't a big head start. I knew the process and the bill process. I ran the Bureau of Narcotics for a little over 9 years. I was with that agency in law enforcement over 28 years. So I've been around government, and I understood the function of government and the executive branch.
Right.
So I understood the bill and whether titles on or off and things like that from being up here and dealing with legislation that affected my agency directly. So I had a little bit of a head start, but really nothing's like it until you get up here and get in it, and really figure out how to do things and little things you never even thought of in the executive branch that you have to know now, and so it's going well, but I do think it helped. And the perspective I have too, I was in sub-appropes on public safety and judiciary, and I just laughingly told my wife the night before I was getting my questions, it's almost an unfair fight, because I was in there and I was on that side of it for so long.
Right.
And but was very fair with the agency directors, as I would want to be, and as I was whenever I was an agency director. But I do have an insight, especially in law enforcement and public safety.
Gotcha. So kind of piggybacking on that thought real quick, one thing I wanted to get your thoughts on, one thing that the Senate Republican caucus is really working on this year is budget transparency. And the way that avenue has kind of been opening is by one bill specifically, Senate Bill 1, which is the LOFT bill, the Legislative Office of Fiscal Transparency. Now, what this office is doing exactly is pretty much just being a legislative office that can dig into budgets and make those numbers more transparent both to the legislature, but then also to the general public. So turning it over to you, what are your thoughts? I mean, you come from an agency standpoint,
Yes.
you have that mindset, but then also you have the legislative side of it. You kind of give us your thoughts on what the benefits are of that, or what your thoughts are in general.
Let me say at 10,000 feet, I think it's one of the most important pieces of legislation we've seen in this state in a long time.
Really?
I really do.
Wow.
And the reason I give that, I knocked 6,000 doors at a time when there were special sessions. There was times where, things were happening that people were skeptical of the 30 million, in one agency. I'm not going to pass judgment. I wasn't here.
Right.
But the reality is, when you're knocking doors, people want to know, what is happening with our taxpayer money.
Right.
And I think my number one responsibility as a legislator and as a senator is the fact that what are we doing? What are we doing with the taxpayers' money, all these billions of dollars? So this would give it's ironic. I was a public safety guy, but my undergraduate's in accounting.
Really?
So I have this understanding of accounting, and I understand that not everybody understands those principles.
That's right.
So you really have to have that core group of individuals that will go in there and dissect these agencies
Right.
and dissect what's going on, so people like myself can make decisions based on accurate information.
Right.
So I think I can't wait to vote for that bill. I can't wait to, if need be, debate for that bill.
Great.
I mean, it's just something that we need in state government. I come to the conclusion, Caden, that two real things when I walked away from my doorsteps,
Okay.
and that way at the end of the election. Number one, that we have to restore trust in government.
Yes.
People want to trust your senators and your representatives and your executive branch. We need to trust government
Right.
more. So this will help with the LOFT program.
Definitely.
And secondly, I believe that Oklahomans will fund core functions of government when they trust them more.
Yep.
So I really believe that we're on the right track with these type of bills.
And really, you don't understand the significance of this bill that it plays until you're actually up here and you see that, hey, these legislators are really making decisions on a lot of good information. We have our Senate staff, but a lot of the budgetary information comes directly from the agencies or even sometimes from lobbyists. So to have that just another avenue of data and information coming in, and that's just only beneficial to the legislative process, don't you think?
Oh, I couldn't agree more.
Okay.
I just think that we have to have it, and so I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see what comes out of it,
Great.
the end result, and what kind of reports we have, and as we make these decisions.
Gotcha. Well, it's always interesting having your input with your experiences as an agency head, but just as a member, it's always interesting getting everybody's thoughts on different legislation that's being run. So I guess we're about out of time here, but before we sign off, did you have anything else you wanted to add on?
Just thanks for having me,
Yeah.
number one. And number two, I can't say enough to my constituents in Senate District 24, more in South Oklahoma City.
Yep.
And it's just an honor to serve. And I hope to do good things. And I'm going to pray for wisdom, that we all make good decisions up here and we take our state forward.
Awesome. Senator, thank you so much for being with us this week. This has been truly an honor, just being able to sit with you and get to know you better and get to know your thoughts on different topics. So thank you very much.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, hey guys, thank you too for joining us this week. You can join us every week. We have these videos with different senators every week. Also, you can go back and watch all of our videos. They're available at ProTem.OKSenate.gov. On that webpage, we have graphics, articles, different videos, podcasts, really just a bunch of information available to the general public on any topic. So check out that webpage, and I guess if you have anything else, we'll sign off.
I think I've said enough.
Awesome.
Thank you, Kate.
Yes, thank you again, and we'll see you next week. Bye.